My sister claimed my husband got her pregnant at my birthday party, but I knew the truth and turned the tables on them both. My name is Carolyn Mercer, and this was supposed to be the best night of my 35th birthday dinner. The private dining room at Leclerc's, a boutique restaurant in downtown Portland, was glowing in soft candlelight. The room buzzed with quiet laughter and polite conversation. My husband, Nathan, stood beside me with a warm smile and his hand resting on my shoulder. He lifted his glass. "To my beautiful wife," he said, charming as ever. "Happy birthday, darling." Across the table, my sister Vanessa fidgeted with her water glass. She hadn't touched her champagne. That should have been my first warning. Before anyone could toast, Vanessa suddenly cleared her throat. "Actually, I have an announcement to make," she said. My mother, Joanne, practically beamed. Of course she knew Joanne always knew things before the rest of us. "I'm pregnant," Vanessa said, loud and clear. And then, without missing a beat, "and Nathan is the father." The room froze. I felt Nathan's fingers tighten on my shoulder, not from guilt, but from bracing for impact. Everyone expected me to lose it, tears, shouting, a dramatic exit. The staff at Leclerc's hovered near the doors, clearly sensing the shift. But I just took a long, slow sip of my champagne. "That's interesting," I said calmly. "Very interesting indeed," my mother tried to interject. "Carolyn, please don't make a scene," she whispered. I smiled. "Oh, I wouldn't dream of it." Instead, I reached into my purse and pulled out a cream envelope. "Actually, I have an announcement too." Vanessa blinked, confused. Nathan's hand slid off my shoulder. "You see," I continued, "Nathan and I have been trying to have a baby for 3 years. And nothing ever worked, so I had him tested." His eyes widened. "This isn't the time," he muttered. "It's exactly the time," I replied. I unfolded the medical report. "According to Dr. Hastings at Rainview Fertility Center," I said, "Nathan has a condition called azoospermia, zero sperm count." I looked right at Vanessa. "In simple terms, he's infertile." The silence was shattered by the clink of someone's fork dropping. Vanessa went pale, like she might faint. That's impossible," she stammered. I pulled out a second envelope. "Different clinic, different doctor, same result." I smiled. "Both tests, last month. So ... would you like to explain how that timeline adds up?" Vanessa looked like she'd seen a ghost. Her confident smirk had evaporated. She reached for her glass with trembling fingers but didn't drink. The room had gone pin-drop silent. My cousin Maya slowly lowered her napkin. "Did she just say?" someone whispered. I didn't answer. I turned to Nathan. "Would you like to see the test dates, sweetheart?" Both were last month. He didn't move. His jaw tightened, but he said nothing. "You had me tested without telling me," he finally asked, voice low and trembling. "Oh, come on," I said. "Let's not pretend honesty was a strong suit in this marriage." I turned to face him fully now, my voice sharper. 3 years, Nathan. 3 years of tears, of doctor visits, of believing I was broken. And all the while, you comforted Vanessa, held her hand through her ups and downs, while I cried myself to sleep. "You had me tested without telling me," he finally asked, voice low and trembling. "Oh, come on," I said. Let's not pretend honesty was a strong suit in this marriage. I turned to face him fully now, my voice sharper. 3 years, Nathan. 3 years of tears, of doctor visits, of believing I was broken. And all the while, you comforted Vanessa, held her hand through her ups and downs, while I cried myself to sleep. My mother stood abruptly. "This is absolutely inappropriate," she said, clearly hoping to shut it all down. But I wasn't finished. "What's truly inappropriate," I said, "is your golden daughter sleeping with my husband and then trying to pass off someone else's baby as his." I stood, grabbing my clutch calmly. "Here's how this night ends. I leave with my dignity. and you to get to explain to everyone why your little lie just fell apart. Nathan tried to grab my arm. "You're wrong, aren't you?" he said, eyes desperate now. I leaned in close enough to smell the vetiver cologne I'd found on Vanessa's coat last month. "No, darling," I whispered. I double-checked. I slipped from his grasp. "And I have much more proof behind me," Vanessa's voice cracked. "Carolyn, wait please. I can explain." I stopped at the door and turned once more. "Save your explanation for your baby's real father, Vanessa." I'm sure he'd love to hear it. The last thing I saw before stepping out was Aunt Elise pulling out her phone, no doubt already dialing half the neighborhood. By morning, everyone would know, and that was exactly what I wanted. Because sometimes justice isn't just about proving what's true. It's about watching liars scramble when they can't spin their way out anymore. That night, I didn't go home. I went straight to my best friend Hattie Monroe's place. I sat on her worn-out sofa, still wearing my heels, and said everything out loud for the first time. She didn't interrupt, just poured wine, handed me a blanket, and said, "About damn time." 6 weeks before the dinner, I was in our shared study late at night. Nathan had fallen asleep early. I was restless, numb from another negative test and another forced smile. His laptop was open, not locked, not hidden. And something inside me snapped. It wasn't curiosity, it was survival. I opened his email and found a thread titled only, "Be careful." The first line read, "We need to be more cautious." C's starting to notice. C, not Carolyn, just an initial, just a problem to manage. The room felt suffocating. Even the fan sounded accusatory. I printed the email and stared at it for 10 minutes before I cried. Not out of heartbreak, but out of clarity. The game had started long before I realized. The next morning, I texted Hetty, Kaner's Cafe, 20 minutes, no questions. "Just come." We met in the corner booth we'd claimed years ago, next to the window that smelled like cinnamon and cold October wind. I slid the email across the table. She read it twice, midnight email. "That's not work." "Nope," I said, "and she's pregnant now." "That timing's not coincidence." Hattie nodded slowly. "You think it's real. I think it's a setup." That same day, I went to the Rainview Fertility Center. I walked in straight-backed and silent. "I need full copies of all records, mine and Nathan's." The receptionist hesitated. "Normally, your husband handles that." "I'm also a patient," I said firmly. "I have a right." She nodded and disappeared. 15 minutes later, I sat in my car with a stack of paperwork beside me. My file, dozens of pages, blood work, hormone levels. Monthly tracking, Nathan's, blank, no tests. No samples, nothing. He'd never even tried. He'd let me think it was me, let me question my worth for 3 years. I called Hattie, my hands shaking. "He never got tested," I said, "not once." Because if I blamed myself, he never had to. That night, I made a new appointment at a different clinic under a fake name. I didn't tell Nathan. Instead, I planned a romantic dinner. Real candles, real champagne, but in his glass. Just a bit of prescription sedative enough to help him sleep better. The clinic handled the rest discreetly. 2 weeks later, I got the call, confirmed as zoospermia, again. 2 days later, fate gave me a bonus. I saw Vanessa leaving the same clinic. She didn't see me, but I saw her waddle out slowly, rubbing her small bump. She got into a car, not Uber, not family. A tall man with sharp cheekbones and dark stubble held the door. I followed them, just far enough. I took photos. I traced the plate. His name, Calder Renshaw, Vanessa's ex from college. And now her very likely baby daddy. I showed Hattie the photos the next day, Calder holding the car door. Vanessa smiling just a little too softly. "So she really is pregnant," Hattie said. No more guessing. I nodded. She avoids wine, complains about fatigue. But here's what she doesn't know: Nathan can't be the father. No matter how she spins it, Hattie leaned back. So what now? I smiled. Now I build the case. Every step I took after that was intentional, quiet, precise. I rented an apartment under my maiden name across town just in case. I contacted Marcia Keene, a family lawyer Hattie's cousin recommended. Marcia didn't blink when I explained. You want to expose them or ruin them? She asked. Both, I said. But in the right order, Marcia smirked. Then we do it smart. We built a file, photos from the clinic and the parking lot, emails between Nathan and Vanessa, voice notes I'd recorded of phone calls, receipts for prenatal appointments billed to Calder's insurance, paternity research and legal precedents. Everything was backed up to the cloud and onto separate flash drives. No accidents, I told myself. No more blind spots. Meanwhile, I played my part at home, smiled, kissed his cheek, pretended to still be heartbroken over our bad luck. I even cooked his favorite meals. Because betrayal doesn't suspect warmth. The day before my birthday, I sat on Hattie's porch. She handed me tea, wrapped in a hoodie and blanket like a coach before a match. They think they've won, she said. They think you're fragile. I nodded. And tomorrow they'll learn how wrong they are. We clinked mugs. She whispered, let it burn. The next evening, the dining room at Leclerc's shimmered with string lights and laughter. Nathan greeted guests with confidence. He was magnetic, glowing with false charm. Vanessa arrived in a pale pink dress that floated over her stomach. My mother, of course, walked in beside her like a parade queen. I just watched, every gesture rehearsed, every lie ready to fall apart. Nathan toasted me with his usual polish. To my radiant wife, he said, raising his glass, whose grace and strength make every life she touches better. I smiled back. Thank you, Nathan. You've always had a gift for words. The room hummed with soft agreement. I turned to Vanessa. And thank you, Vanessa. It means so much that you're here. She nodded, too confident. Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I'm sure, I replied. Especially with your big news. Her smile cracked. The air shifted. Let's toast to that. 2 new beginnings, children. And truth, gas flickered around the table. But before we raise our glasses, I said, reaching into my bag, I have something to share. I pulled out 2 envelopes and placed them on the table. 3 years ago, Nathan and I started trying to build a family. It was difficult. We blamed timing, stress. Anything but the truth. Nathan's smile faltered. Eventually, I sought answers. Alone, I opened the first envelope and lifted out the report. According to Dr. Hastings, Nathan has a zoospermia. His body doesn't produce any sperm. The room fell into stunned silence. You could hear someone shift their glass. I didn't want to believe it. I continued. So I went to another clinic without telling him. Same diagnosis. I let the words settle. In short, Nathan cannot be the biological father of any child. My cousin Leonard dropped his fork. My mother covered her mouth. I turned to Vanessa. Her face was pale and empty. So imagine my surprise, I said, when Vanessa announced she was pregnant and claimed Nathan was the father. I lifted the second envelope. You know what's more surprising? The results of a paternity test I had run between Vanessa and Calder Renshaw. The name hit the table like a brick. Turns out, Calder's the father, not Nathan. Vanessa gasped, whispering, No, that's not true. It is, I said calmly. I've seen you with him, Vanessa. I have photos. I know you used his insurance for your appointments. I even have receipts. Nathan looked like he'd been slapped. He turned toward my mother, who suddenly wouldn't meet his eyes. And I know you, Mom, I added. I know you helped cover it up. paid for her visits, encouraged her to keep going. You betrayed me, too. You don't understand, she said. No, I do, I replied. For the first time, I really do. I turned to the room. My family didn't just lie to me, they made me question myself. Grieve something I didn't cause, all while hiding their own future behind my back. I looked at Nathan. You let me think I was broken. Carolyn, please, he whispered. No more lies, I said firmly. Because tonight, truth is the guest of honor, I placed both envelopes on the table and stepped back. The entire room was frozen. Vanessa looked down. Nathan stared into space. Joanne, the woman who raised me, had nothing left to say. And then I left, not with a scream, not with tears. Just quiet dignity. Behind me, I heard the unraveling begin. Questions, gasps, anger, disbelief. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Justice had already spoken. I didn't sleep that night. Not because of sadness, but because of something new, something strong. I curled up on Hattie's couch, staring at the fireplace glow. I was done being silent. I was done carrying their secrets. The next day, my phone buzzed nonstop. Nathan, Vanessa, my mom, extended family. Some begged, some scolded, none of them mattered anymore. I didn't reply to any of their messages. Instead, I called Marcia. They're going to try to twist this, I told her. Let them, she replied. You'll stay silent, focused. The moment one of them slips, we move. Within 48 hours, Nathan's company launched an internal investigation. An anonymous tip, mine reached the board. It included more than fertility records. I had everything. Forged reimbursements, falsified quarterly reports, personal trips masked as work expenses, a car registered to a shell company. Months of research, now in the hands of auditors. Hattie texted later, your mom left a voicemail. Says she didn't know, but I knew better. She always knew. That was never neglect. It was favoritism disguised as concern. I was useful. Vanessa was adored. By the end of the week, Nathan was placed on administrative leave. Vanessa deleted all her social accounts. Joanne stopped calling. I signed the lease on my new apartment, simple, bright, mine. 2 days later, I got a message from Calder Renshaw. I think we need to talk. We met at a small cafe near the clinic. He looked tired but sincere. She told me she was single, he said. That the baby was mine. Then not, then maybe. I nodded. She lied to all of us. She used my insurance, he said. I have a partner now. This could destroy everything. I'm not here to destroy, I replied. Just to bring truth to light. He hesitated, then handed me a signed consent form for a paternity test. I need to know. 2 days later, the results came back. Calder was the father, 100%. I didn't post it, didn't share it with the world. I sent Vanessa a single message, Calder is the father, he knows. So do I an hour later, she replied, please forgive me. I stared at the screen. I didn't feel anger, just distance, as if she was already part of a past I'd closed the door on. I answered, forgiveness and access aren't the same. I wish you peace, but I'm not coming back. That night, Nathan came to my new place. I didn't open the door. I watched through the peephole. His shoulders were slumped. After a few minutes, he slid an envelope under the door and left. Inside were photos, handwritten letters, and one note, you never deserved this. I let fear decide for me. It cost me everything. I'm sorry. I placed it in my drawer and shut it. I didn't need closure from him. I already had it. 2 months later, Nathan was charged with fraud and embezzlement. He pled guilty. The company issued a formal statement. His career ended quietly. I received a settlement, 7 figures. Not revenge, just restoration. I made my first donation to a fertility nonprofit. not to erase the past, but to reclaim it. One evening, Hattie and Maya toasted with me to peace, to freedom, to choice. Sometimes people ask if it was worth it. If I miss them, if I ever forgave, my answer: forgiveness is not forgetting. It's choosing not to let their lies shape your future. Justice isn't court. It's watching them face their own mirror and peace. It's waking up in a place that's mine, with air that feels clean, and a future I chose with my own hands.